We are going to learn about the knee joint. So here this is a large joint. Too much of details are here. So we'll study this into two parts. So today the part one we will see about the joint, its types and its ligaments, and then about its details like its relation, different bursas, and applied anatomy. That means the second part we are going to learn. So because this is a large joint and having the many ligaments, approximately 11 ligaments are there. Therefore, this much of discussions. So as a video part recording, it is a little bit lengthy. So we'll better for our convenience, we'll make it into the two parts. Okay. So today the part one we are learning the knee joint. Knee joint is a very important part in the body. So because as we know, it bears the whole body weight on the towards the ground. So now thing is that knee joint even is a very common part which you have come to know about in the old age. Very oftenly complains about arthritis, swelling of the knee joints and all that part. So even clinically and that is also important because of many of the disease related with the patient comes. And also in accident, if there are very many severe accident we find okay, there is a twisting or there is some injury to the ligaments and all that. So that's the reason we have to learn the anatomy of knee joint, and it's a very essential. Now knee joint, it is a largest and complex joint. So if you have to define, we will say what is knee joint. So knee joint is the largest. Knee joint is the largest and complex joint. So okay, we know that it is the largest joint. Like between the femur and the tibia, and these are the long bones of the lower limb of the body. They makes articulation. So it is a large joint. Now it's a complex. Why it is called as a complex? Complex because here the three fusion of the three parts, or three joints we can say, small joints we can make some mixing over here or joining here. Though bones is only one, but now the parts of the bones. So we can see like how it is like condyle. So medial condyle of the tibia and medial condyle of the femur, medial condyle of the lateral condyle of the femur and the lateral condyle of the tibia. So therefore it is called as a femorotibial ligament. So medial femorotibial ligament, I will show you in those bones also, and the lateral femorotibial joint. So medial femorotibial joint, lateral femorotibial joint, and patella, so femoropatellar joint. So these are the three joints. So these are fusion of the three joints, therefore it's called as a complex. So now we'll see in here this part, like this is the tibia and this is a femur. So this is a femur and tibia. So these are the condyles. These are the condyles of femur and these are the condyles of tibia. So I have said this is a medial. So this is a medial condyle of the femur, and this is a medial what we can say the condyle of the tibia. So therefore this is the medial femorotibial joint, and here is this is the lateral femorotibial joint, and here will be the patella. In front the patella is present, so femoropatellar joint. So therefore this is the fusion of the three joints are here, therefore it's called as a complex. So now the first part is clear that knee joint, it is the largest and complex joint. So it is a complex because the three fusion of the three joints, these are medial femorotibial joint, lateral femorotibial, and femoropatellar joint. Now next part we'll see the type. It is a type of synovial joint. So like in general anatomy we have seen the classification of joint. So according to that, the type, so it is a synovial joint. So knee joint is a synovial joint because it is lined by the synovial membrane and containing the synovial fluid. So in this joint, so therefore it is a synovial joint. And it is of course freely mobile. So having the movements over here, flexion, extension, medial and lateral rotation, etc. Now, so synovial joint. Second, it is a subtype. So what is a subtype? It's a condylar. You know the condyles of the femur and the condyles of the tibia are articulating. Therefore, it is a condylar subtype. Subtype is a condylar joint. Now, the third part we have to what in this joint we have to mention is about the articular surfaces. Articular surfaces. So there are the three bones are getting joined over here. So the articular surfaces of femur. So that is the condyles of femur. So first is the condyles of femur, condyles of tibia, and patellar surface, and the patella. So these are the three part here we can see the articulating surface. So these are the condyles of the femur. Okay. Then these are the condyles of the tibia, and the patella, which is not here but here in present anteriorly, the patella is present. So these are the articulating surfaces. Now we'll see about the ligaments of knee joint. What we have learned is what is knee joint, the type of knee joint, subtype of knee joint, and articular surfaces. Now next part what we have to discuss is about the ligaments of knee joint. Now in ligaments there are total 11 ligaments are there total, because this is a large joint and this is to be supported with the maximum ligaments. So this is a joint which has a large number of the ligaments, what we can say. So these ligaments are, first is a fibrous capsule. Then ligament patelli, tibial collateral ligament, fibular collateral ligament, oblique popliteal ligament, arcuate popliteal ligament, then anterior cruciate ligament, posterior cruciate ligament, then lateral meniscus, medial meniscus, and the transverse ligament. So these are some of the 11 ligaments, and all these ligaments we are going to learn in detail. So one by one we will start with each ligament with its attachments. So we'll discuss about from where these are attached and how much strengthful they gives a support to the joint. So we'll start with, because these are some of the 11, and these ligaments you have to remember. You have to keep in mind. You have to mention the list and then to describe only with its attachment. So especially what here is expected is attachment. So fibrous capsule. I'm just revising these ligaments. Ligamentum patelli, then tibial collateral, fibular collateral ligament, then the oblique popliteal, this arcuate popliteal, then the what we can say the arcuate, that is the cruciate ligament, anterior and posterior cruciate ligament, meniscus, lateral and medial meniscus, and the transverse ligament. So these are the 11 ligaments. Now individual ligaments we are going to learn. So first we are going to learn about the fibrous capsule. So as we have discussed, there are total 11 ligaments. In each ligament we have to describe about their attachments. So first we'll see fibrous capsule. So as we know that the entire joint, this what we can say, this entire joint, so this entire joint is covered by a capsule. If this entire joint is covered by a, so we can say this entire joint is covered by a capsule. So now about this fibrous capsule. So first of all, this fibrous capsule is a very thin. The characteristics of this capsule, only the keywords what we have to know about that fibrous capsule. So it is a very thin, and this is deficient anteriorly. Yes, in the anterior part of the joint, it is deficient. Where it is replaced, as it is deficient. Why anteriorly it is deficient? Because it is replaced by the quadriceps femoris. So quadriceps femoris. So this is the extensor group of muscles, and this quadriceps, the four, we know there are 4 muscles. So this quadriceps femoris muscles, so it becomes a tendon and get attached to the patella and as a ligamentum patelli to the tibial tuberosity. So therefore, it is a quadriceps femoris that why it is deficient anteriorly. So anteriorly, this fibrous capsule is replaced by quadriceps femoris, patella, and then the ligamentum patelli. So these are the 3 parts what it replaced. So this is in the characteristics. So what we have discussed, fibrous capsule is a very thin. It is deficient anteriorly, replaced by these of the 3 points you remember: quadriceps femoris, patella, and the ligamentum patelli. Now next we will see its attachment. So first is the femoral attachment. Now in femoral attachment, as we know there is an articular margin. So articular margin on the bones. So this articular margin on the bones. So in this articular margin, so half to 1 centimeter beyond. So whatever is articular margin, this articular margin. So half to 1 centimeter beyond the articular margin, this capsule is attached. So it attached here on the femur. So half to 1 inch beyond the articular margin. Similarly also on the tibia also, because it covers the entire joint. So now and here the 3 important features are there. So anteriorly this fibrous capsule in the femoral attachment is deficient. Posteriorly it is attached to the intercondylar line. This is the intercondylar line. So this is attached to the intercondylar line. And laterally, now this laterally here is attached to the popliteus. So laterally it is attached to the origin of the popliteus, just the part near the surrounding covering the popliteus muscle. So these are the 3 characteristics of the what we can say the fibrous capsules on attachment of the femur. So again, femoral attachment. So what I have said, it is half to 1 inch beyond the articular margin. Then 3 characteristics: anteriorly it is deficient in the femoral attachment. Posteriorly it is attached to the intercondylar line, and laterally it is attached to the origin. So it's covering. So that's surrounding. So origin of the popliteus muscle. So this is about femoral attachment. Now next part we'll see the tibial attachment. So now on the tibial attachment, again Same. So these are condyles of tibia, so it surrounds it completely. So therefore again, so it is a half to 1 centimeter beyond. So this is articular whatever surface of this tibia. So it is half to 1 centimeter beyond this, beyond. So it is surrounding this completely to the tibia. So again, half to 1 centimeter beyond the articular margin on the tibia. So that is in first part, which is the attachment to the tibial attachment. Now again, here also the three characteristics. Anteriorly, again we say that is a deficient, but it descends down along the condyles to the tibial tuberosity. So anteriorly it descends down along the condylar margin this to the tibial tuberosity, and then it is replaced here with the tibial tuberosity with the ligamentum patelli. So this is anteriorly, and then posteriorly it is this. So this here on the posteriorly, the intercondylar ridge. So this is called as a ridge. So intercondylar ridge where it is get attached, and laterally. So posterolaterally, more of that you can say the posterolaterally. So where the with the exit of the again popliteus tendon, with the exit of this popliteus tendon, so that is a surrounding. So it is attached. So these are the three of the characteristic features with the tibial attachment. Now next we'll see this ligament, this fibrous capsule. We also call in certain parts like it's a coronary ligament. So what's meaning coronary ligament? The part of the capsules. Now as we know, the part of the capsules get attached to the menisci. So the part between the menisci and the tibia is called as a coronary ligament. The part between, again I am repeating, the part between the menisci, both the menisci, because menisci is a cartilaginous. So on menisci, so it is on the lateral margin, it is attached. So the part between the menisci and the tibia is called as a coronary ligament. Now second, also we'll see there is a short lateral ligament. Short lateral ligament. These are another characteristics here. So short lateral ligament. So this is a cord-like. So this fibrous capsule becomes a cord-like thickening. So where this cord-like thickening? Between the lateral condyle of this lateral condyle of the femur. Between this lateral condyle of the femur and the apex of fibula. So apex here the apex is attached, the head and the apex of the fibula, apex is attached over here. So therefore to the tibia. So therefore it is apex. So where it is attached. So this part. So between, what we can say, that between the lateral condyle of femur and then the apex of the fibula. So this part is a little thickening. So this thickening is called as a short lateral ligament. So these are some of the characteristics with this. Now capsule ligament, as we know, is a very weak ligament, because already I have said it's a very thin. So therefore it is a weak. So therefore this ligament is strengthened by, the patellar reticuli. On the other lateral side is a patellar, so patella is attached here, so therefore patellar reticuli. And we have studied that the iliotibial tract. So on the lateral part, what we know that there's the iliotibial tract. So this both gives the strengthening. So that gives a strengthening to this knee joint. So knee joint is strengthened by the two important points, what you remember. So patellar reticuli, one, and second is a iliotibial tract. Now the last part what we will see, it's about two opening. So two opening in this fibrous capsule surrounds the entire joint is surrounded by the fibrous capsule. So two openings are there, and these two opening is with the suprapatellar bursa, because here the suprapatellar bursa between the patella and the condyles of the femur. So suprapatellar bursa is there, and the exit of the popliteus. We know that's popliteus tendon. So popliteus muscle tendon, which is comes out towards the tibia. So therefore that exit. So there is these are the two openings present in the fibrous capsule. So this is all about these 8 characteristics what we have learned with the fibrous capsule. So which in a very short points, what with the keywords you can write about this, because we have to describe this. So it's a very thin. This is a deficient anteriorly and replaced by the 3 parts I have said: quadriceps femoris, patella, and the ligamentum patelli. Femoral attachment, what we have to describe. Then the we have discussed that tibial attachment. Then the coronary ligament, short ligament, and the last is a 2 opening. So this is all about this fibrous capsule. Clear? हे व्यवस्थित आणि की आपण दोनदा रिपीट पण करू. Now the second ligament we will discuss in detail about here is the ligamentum patelli. Ligamentum patelli. So now ligament patelli we know. So it is formed by the from the quadriceps femoris. This is the tendon, inserting tendon of the quadriceps femoris. So here in the diagram what I have shown. So this is the central portion. See, this is the quadriceps femoris. And so this is a femur and this is a tibia, this is a tibial tuberosity, here is a patella is present. So from the what we can say this ligamentum patelli, So how it is formed? There is a tendon of the quadriceps femoris. This is the tendon of the quadriceps femoris. So first we'll see ligamenta patelli is formed by. So this is formed by the central portion of the common tendon of what we can say which is inserting. So in common tendon of the insertion of the quadriceps femoris. So this is a central portion. Now the formation. So what ligamenta patelli is formed by? The central portion of the common tendon of the insertion of quadriceps femoris. So like here in the thigh, the quadriceps femoris. So this tendon which goes and attached to the tibial tuberosity. So that central part. So the central portion. This is a very important part here. Central portion. So how ligamenta patelli is formed? It is formed by the central portion of the common tendon of insertion of quadriceps femoris. So that is what we can say about the ligamenta patelli. And now it's both lateral and the medial margins, ends, which is attached to the patella. So that forms a lateral and medial retinocula, and that gives a support to the fibrous capsule. We have discussed about that. So strengthening of the, because fibrous capsule is a very thin, and to give the strength, so strengthening of the capsule is by these two retinoculi, that is the lateral and the medial retinoculi. So these lateral and medial retinoculi which attach to the margin of this patella. Clear? So therefore that is formed by this the portion on either side of the central part of the tendon. So that is this retinocula which gives us strength. So this is what we have discussed about its formation. Now this tendon which forms the ligamenta patelli. So the length of this ligamenta patelli is approximately 3 inches. Length of the ligamenta patelli is a 3 inch long, and it is 1 inch broad. It is a 1 inch broad. Okay. So formation I have discussed, its length and the breadth what we have discussed. Now next we'll see it is attachment. So it's attached in the two parts, above, in upper part and lower part. So above it is attached to the margin, above it is attached to the margin, and the rough posterior part or rough posterior surface, and the apex of the what we can say this patella. So three things. So upper part is attached to the patella and lower part to the tibial tuberosity. So the part above, so which is attached, is to the margin, posterior rough part, and the apex of the patella. Whereas lower part it is attached to the what we can say the upper smooth part of the tibial tuberosity. Tibial tuberosity is upper smooth and the lower rough. So it is attached to the upper smooth part of the tibial tuberosity. So this is all about the attachment. So this is about ligamenta patelli. So what is ligamenta patelli? How it is formed? Only this 3 points what you have to describe about. 3 points is that this formation. So it is formed by the central portion of the common tendon of insertion of quadriceps femoris. Second, its both remaining portion of the tendon forms a lateral and medial retinoculi which gives a support. Then its length is 3 inches and breadth is 1 inch. And its attachment, so what we can say above is attached to the margin, posterior part and the apex of the patella. And below it is attached to the upper smooth part of the tibial tuberosity. So this is all about ligamenta patelli. Now the third ligament we are going to learn about. So this is a tibial collateral ligament. The third ligament, because two already we have learned, is a one fibrous capsule, and second is a ligamentum patelli. Now third is a tibial collateral ligament. Tibial collateral ligament is also called as a medial collateral ligament because it is on the medial side. It is on the medial side between the femur and the tibia. So it is also called as a medial collateral. So as it is attached on the tibia, therefore it is called as a tibial collateral ligament. Now its counterpart, its opposite part will be definitely what? Fibular. That's the fourth ligament that we are going to learn because we are attached on the fibula. So between femur and fibula, there is a fibular collateral. So now here we are going to learn about the tibial collateral ligament. Now as in the diagram you can see, this tibial collateral ligament. So this is a band like, see this is a band like a ligament. Now this ligament always attached superiorly, what we can say, to the femur. So it is a medial epicondyle. So here is a medial epicondyle of the femur just below the adductor tubercle. So here this is the femur, the diagram is what shown. So this is the adductor tubercle. So below the adductor tubercle at the medial epicondyle of the femur, this ligament is attached. Now this ligament bifurcate or divide into the two. So one is a superficial or anterior part and the other is a deep or posterior part, we can say. So this is the superficial and the deep part. And now these two as a separate part going to attach on the different parts of the tibia. So now superficial part, which is a long band, almost 4 inches long and ½ inch broad, and this is attached to the what we can say the shaft. So medial surface of the shaft of the tibia. So it is just below the medial margin and the posterior part of the medial surface of the shaft of the tibia it is attached. Whereas this deep, so this deep part of this what we can say medial collateral or a tibial collateral ligament. So this is a short, as in diagram itself sees. So it just what we can say blend or mixed with or attached to this is a capsular ligament and this middle meniscus. Clear? And here it is attached to the medial epicondyle. It is a medial condyle. It is a medial condyle of the tibia, just below that groove for the semi-tendinosus. Clear? So now here we can say, so this, so here on the medial side, so medial side this is present. So these are the two parts what we have seen about this medial collateral ligament or a tibial collateral ligament. So already these keywords what I have given you. So this is what you have to remember. So tibial collateral ligament. So superiorly it is attached to the medial epicondyle of the femur below the adductor tibia, which is shown in the diagram. And this diagram is very simple. Only this line diagram what you have to draw. Second, inferiorly, so it's divided into the tibial collateral ligament divided into the two, the superficial and the deep part. Now the superficial part is a 4-inch long, ½ inch broad, and so this attached below to the medial border and the posterior surface part of the medial surface of the shaft, on the medial surface. So on the medial surface we know the 3 muscles which inserted. Clear? So sartorius, gracilis. Clear? And which one? That is the semi-tendinosus. So these are the 3 muscles what that attached just below that. So what we can say this superficial part. So that attached to the only in the simple way you can say is the upper part of the shaft, medial surface of the shaft of the tibia. Now deep part. So deep part is always, as I have said, is a blend or a fused with the this capsule, fibrous capsule, as well as a medial meniscus, and it is attached to the condyle, medial condyle of the tibia. It is attached to the medial condyle of the tibia. Now it's a very important one characteristic features about this. We'll see morphologically this ligament. How? So actually it is said morphologically this represents a degenerated part. So degenerated tendon of the adductor magnus muscle. We know adductor magnus muscles which attach here, the insertion part we know at the adductor tubercle. So it is said that it is a degenerated tendon of the adductor magnus. So that is what morphologically it is said. So this is all about this tibial collateral ligament. Now next we are going to learn about the fibular collateral ligament. Now, fourth ligament we are going to learn, the fibular collateral ligament. Fibular collateral is a collateral ligament. So it is present of course on the lateral side between the femur, condyle of the femur and the fibula. Now here we see this with the presentation of this diagram. So this line diagram that will helpful to understand this. Now this is the fibula which attached to the tibia, so the head of the fibula. So it's this is again a band-like or a cord-like ligament. This is strong, so therefore it's a strong cord-like ligament. It's approximately of 2 inches in length. So this is of 2 inches in length. And now this ligament attached superiorly to the epicondyle, lateral epicondyle of the femur, and inferiorly it is attached to the head. Inferiorly it is attached to the head of the fibula, just near its apex, along with the tendon, this tendon of the biceps femoris. So this is what its attachment. And morphologically this represents the femoral part. It represents the femoral part of the peroneus longus. Now, so these are the 4 points what very short we can describe with this. So fibulocollateral ligament, so it is a strong cord-like ligament, already have discussed, which I have shown in the diagram. 2 inches in length, the 2 inches long, and attachment, the superior and inferior, 2 attachments. So superiorly to the lateral epicondyle of the femur, and inferiorly to the apex to the head of the fibula near its apex, and along with the tendon of the biceps femoris. Then morphological order side, it represents the femoral part of the femoral attachment of the peroneus pons. This is all. Now the fifth ligament. We already discussed the last four ligament, fibrous capsule, ligament of Patelli, then the medial, that is the tibial collateral ligament and fibular collateral ligament. Now fifth is the oblique popliteal ligament. See the name itself, it suggests oblique because it presents obliquely. So oblique popliteal ligament. Now why it is called a name like this one? So this is an expansion from the so now we can see here the expansion. So this is the expansion from the semimembranosus. So this is the expansion from the semimembranosus. So it goes obliquely from medial to lateral. So that is from here is what we can say attachment, insertion of the semimembranosus. So from the condyle, medial condyle of the what we can say tibia. So from that, so it is an expansion. Is an expansion from the tendon of the semimembranosus. Expansion from the tendon of semimembranosus. And it runs upwards. Yes. So now see, like here we can see. So here it runs from here tendon. It runs upwards this way. So it runs upwards and laterally, because see from medial to lateral it goes. So it runs upwards and laterally and blends with the posterior surface of the capsule. See here is the posterior part of the capsule. So from here it goes like this obliquely. So like here it goes and get attached or blend, that means mix with the posterior surface of the fibrous capsule. So its attachment is with the intercondylar line. So here it is inserted here. So with the intercondylar line and the lateral condyle of the femur. So that is what attachment. So this is all the 2 points what we have to describe over here. So first it is expansion of the tendon of the tendon is expansion. So expansion from the tendon of the semimembranosus. Semimembranosus. Remember this. Then second, it runs upwards, okay, and laterally, and merge with or blend with the posterior surface of the fibrous capsule, and is attached to the intercondylar line and the lateral condyle of the femur. Now, sixth ligament we will study, that is the arcuate popliteal ligament. See, the name itself suggests arcuate. It is an arches over. It is an arc. So arches over the popliteus tendon or poplite. So therefore, this arcuate popliteal ligament. Now this arcuate popliteal ligament here, no, it is a fibula. So head of fibula which are articulated with the tibia. So here the head of the fibula. So from this head of fibula it get expand. So therefore this is a posterior expansion of the short lateral ligament. We know what is short lateral ligament. In the fibrous capsule we have learned. So fibrous capsules become thickening in the part between the lateral condyle of the femur and the head of the fibula. So therefore this part of the capsule, so that becomes thickening. So that is called as a short lateral ligament. So it is a posterior expansion. So this is a posterior expansion of this short lateral ligament, and this extends backward. So this extends backward from this head of the fibula. So it extends backward from the head of the fibula. And here because the popliteus tendon is there, so it arches over. It arches over the popliteus tendon. Therefore its name is a arcuate popliteal ligament. And finally this get attached to the posterior border. Finally here this is the posterior border of the intercondylar area of the tibia. So this is the intercondylar area of the tibia and its posterior border. So here they get attached. So therefore this ligament. So therefore is the attachment finally on this intercondylar area of the tibia. Now so these 3 points, very short and simple, what we can say. So it's a posterior expansion of the short lateral ligament. Then it what we can say extends backward from the head of fibula, and this arches over the tendon of the popliteus muscle. Then finally it attached to the posterior border of the intercondylar area of tibia. So this is about this arcuate popliteal ligament. Now next ligament we are going to learn, the 7th ligament, is about the cruciate ligaments. Now these are the two cruciate ligaments, anterior cruciate ligament and posterior cruciate ligament. So now the name itself suggests cruciate. Now see in this diagram, see this is a cross. Cross is a cruciate. So cruciate means a cross. So now this ligament, so this cruciate, because they have two ligaments and they are crossing. So this is very gives a strong support. So these ligaments, that's the reason these are called as a cruciate ligament. So they are from the intercondylar area. See, this is from this intercondylar. This is the intercondylar area. So these are the two condyle. These are the two condyle of the tibia, and the central part, the middle part, this is the intercondylar area. So from this intercondylar area, so this is exactly in the middle, in the center of this knee joint. So it gives a this way. This gives a cross and attached to the femur. So here it attached to the condyles of the femur. Here it is attached to these condyles of the femur. So that's the reason this is a cruciate ligament. Now the cruciate ligaments are very thick. See now, so they are very very thick, and these are the strong fibrous band. They are made up of the fibrous tissue. Of course, all ligaments made up of the fibrous tissue. So here, so these are the very thick, strong, and fibrous bands. These are the bands like so which are crossing. So this cruciate. Now, what's the importance of this? Because among all ligaments, this plays again a very important role. This cruciate ligament. So it maintains the antero-posterior. See, when we are standing, so in this position, antero-posterior stability of the knee joint. So antero-posterior, when we are in the standing posture, so it maintains the stability, and that is from the anterior to posterior. So antero-posterior stability of the knee joint, stability of the knee joint. So that's a very important part. So now here are two ligaments which we are going to learn. So first, that is the anterior. So now 7th number, the anterior cruciate ligament. So we'll see its attachment. So now attachment of this ligament. So it is already I have said. Two things what you have to remember, that is from the intercondylar region. This intercondylar region of the tibia. So it is attached from the anterior part. Now see this. So here this is the elevated part, intercondylar this part elevation. So one is the anterior, one is the posterior part. So from the anterior, this region. So from the anterior part, from this anterior part of the intercondylar area of the tibia. So it attaches so to the anterior part of the intercondylar area of the tibia, and it runs, and from here it runs upwards, backwards, and laterally. So from here, this from anterior is going like this. So it runs upwards, backwards, and laterally. And here, as it is laterally, so therefore it is to the lateral condyle going to be attached of the femur. So now in this lateral condyle, so from it is attached to the posterior part. Now see posteriorly, posterior part of the medial surface. This is the medial. These are medial side. So this medial, so medial surface of the lateral condyle. So posterior part of this posteriorly. So this is the posterior part of the medial surface of the lateral condyle. Lateral condyle. So anterior, remember anterior cruciate ligament from the anterior part of the intercondylar region or area of the tibia, and attached to the posterior part of the medial surface of the lateral condyle of the femur. So that's very important. So this way it goes cross obliques. So this is about this attachment, and the opposite one, its a counterpart, will see the medial cruciate ligament. Now next 8th ligament we are going to see. There is a posterior cruciate ligament. So posterior, exact opposite what the point we have mentioned in the anterior cruciate, exactly what you have to make it an opposition of it, because these are crossing. So now anterior, as from the anterior region or anterior part of the intercondylar area of the tibia it was attachment. Now here in the posterior, why it is called the posterior cruciate? Because it begins from the posterior region. Now here is from the posterior region. So posterior region or posterior area of the intercondylar area. So posterior part of the intercondylar area of the tibia. Now its course is what? It runs upwards again. So from here it runs upwards. But now here it goes forward because it goes anteriorly. So it runs upwards, forwards, and it is now medial. Now here it will be the medial, because in what we can say, anterior it was lateral, and now in the posterior it was medial. Then only is the crossing. The crossing will be taken. So as see, now this anterior is going like towards the lateral. So from the posterior it runs upwards, forwards, and medial. So this is medial. So this is how it supports, and now it is attached to the medial condyle. Here it is going to be attached to the medial condyle of the femur. So now it is attached exact opposite. So here it will be attached to the anterior part of the lateral surface. Anterior part of the lateral surface of the medial condyle. Anterior. So this will be then only the crossing, the cross, therefore the cruciate ligament. So this is all the 3 points about its attachment. So this posterior cruciate ligament, it's attached from the posterior part of the intercondylar area of the tibia. So it runs upwards, forwards, and medially now. And attachment where to the femur, to the as I have said, medial condyle. So therefore it is attached to the anterior part. Now here, because from posterior comes to the anterior crossing, so therefore it is the anterior part of the lateral surface. This lateral surface of the medial condyle of the femur. So this is about its attachment. Next part of the ligaments what we are learning is menisci. So 9th and 10th ligament, that is medial and the lateral meniscus. These two meniscus we will going to discuss now. So menisci. Now see, if you can see this diagram. So this we have taken a transverse section at the of the knee joint at the tibia. So now on the tibial condyle, so the two tibial condyle, that is the medial condyle and the lateral condyle, and on that concavity of that condyles, so in that this menisci is present. So what is menisci? So this meniscus, singular is a meniscus and plural is a menisci. So this menisci, so these are made up of cartilage. Remember, these are the cartilaginous ligament. Yes, we can say, because it's a ligament. Now we cartilage. So these are the between the two articulating surface, this cartilage. So they give the support, firm support, and depend the this what concavity of that joint, and it also helps in lubrication. Clear? So that's the reason. Otherwise, if this cartilage is not there, then the two bony surface maybe get a friction. So that's the reason when we make so much of the movements, so we don't get a noise or a sound. So that's the reason this menisci helps in lubrication that joint. So there are two menisci. So these are made up of fibrocartilaginous. So these which cartilage? What is the type of cartilage here? So these are fibrocartilage. This is not hyaline. This is a fibrocartilage. So now the two menisci and these two, both the menisci are the semicircular. Now see, so therefore these are semilunar, is a half moon like. So these are semilunar, what we can say, these cartilages. So these are the two menisci, and these two menisci are made up of the fibrocartilage. One point we have seen. Then it is the shape. If you see about, I have said it's a semicircular or a semi-lunar, half moon like. So therefore it's a crescent. So therefore these are having a crescent shape. And they depend the articular surface. Already I have said they depends the articular surface of the condyles of the tibia. So on which the condyles of the femurs are making a movement on that. So this. So now the two menisci, as in the diagram we are finding here, this is the medial menisci and then this lateral. So now each one will discuss about a few characteristics point about it. So the if you see the medial menisci, so medial menisci is more of the semicircular. It is more of the semicircular in shape somewhat. Now again second part you see it's a wider on posterior than on the anterior part. So it is a wider, this cartilage is more wider on the behind, on the posterior side than in the front. Then it's a peripheral margin. This peripheral margin already in that medial collateral ligament we have seen. So this peripheral margin is attached or get embraced with. It is so therefore this attached with the medial collateral ligament. Medial or that is the tibial collateral ligament. Medial collateral ligament is also called as the tibial collateral ligament. So this peripheral margin adhere or attached to the tibial collateral ligament. So this what we can say about this. Now if we see the anterior part of this menisci is both the medial and lateral is attached with the transverse ligament. That is attached with this transverse ligament. Now next part what we see this menisci, we will discuss about the lateral and its features we will discuss. So the lateral meniscus, so if you see this lateral meniscus, so this is nearly more of circular. It is more of the what we can say nearly somewhat circular in shape. Then it's there's a very important part. So now here also this attached with the fibular collateral ligament, but in between the fibular collateral ligament, we already in that previous diagram we have seen, and between this lateral meniscus and the lateral or fibular collateral ligament. Fibular collateral ligament. So what the two derriere or means two of the structure present here. What are these two structures? One is a capsule and another is a tendon of the popliteus muscle. So tendon of the popliteus muscle one and then capsule. This is present in between or separating the lateral meniscus from the fibular collateral ligament. Now about this menisci, if you see in the structure, as I have said, it's a fibrocartilaginous. So this two crescent shape. So therefore this menisci has the two ends. If you see, the two ends are there, anterior and posterior end. Then the two margin. So see, this is the outer margin which is a convex and the inner margin which is concave on both the sides. And then the third, the two surface. Two surface, that is the upper and the lower surface. So lower surface is with the condyles of the concavity of the condyles of the tibia, with the condyles of this tibia. Whereas the upper surface is separating of the condyles of the femur. So these condyles of the femur. So therefore it divides this knee joint cavity into the upper and the lower part. Upper and because of this menisci. So now especially what we can say, this movement. So upper compartment is more helps in the movements during the flexion and extension. During this flexion and extension, this upper compartment. And then the lower compartment is more on the medial rotation and then lateral rotation. So that is the inner and outer. So medial and the lateral rotation, the lower compartment, that's going to help. So this what we can say about this, what I have described about this menisci. So menisci is both the medial and the lateral meniscus. So here we have, these are the points. Now they gives a very much strong support, of course. And what are the function? So they makes, because here the cavity of the what we can say condyles of the tibia is a shallow, is not deep, and because this gives a firm attachment over here, and this makes both the femur and the condyles of the femur and condyles of, so it is not making them congruent. So therefore it prevents the lubrication. It makes what prevents the friction. So it helps in the lubrication. So this cartilage is present between the two, so it prevents the friction and helps in lubrication. It helps in lubrication, one of this function of this cartilage. Second, it is a shock absorber. This is a shock absorber. And third, already I have said, it's divided into the two parts, upper compartment, lower compartment. Upper compartment helps in the flexion and extension movement of the knee, and then the lower compartment, because of this knee joint, because of this menisci, so that helps in the medial and the lateral rotation of the knee. So this is about its function. So these are all about this menisci, both medial and the lateral meniscus, what we have described. Now the last ligament what we are going to learn is about the transverse ligament. When that previous diagram we have seen, the two anterior ends of the both menisci are attached transversely by this ligament, therefore it is called as a transverse ligament. So transverse ligament, so it connects the anterior ends of the both the menisci, lateral and medial menisci. So that is a transverse ligament. Now here with all these 11 ligaments we have completed. So if just in short we can make a list of this 11 ligament, what we have learned is a fibrous capsule, ligament patelli, then the medial collateral ligament, fibular collateral ligament, then the oblique popliteal ligament, arcuate popliteal ligament, then the cruciate ligament, so anterior posterior cruciate ligament, then the menisci, lateral and medial menisci, and then this transverse ligament. So these are all about the 11 ligament in the description what we have learned. Then the last part today, in this first part we will finish with the synovial membrane and bursa. So synovial membrane, so it lines the capsule, so the entire capsule, so inner to the capsule, so is lined by this synovial membrane, because it's a synovial type of joint, so it's a freely movable joint. So this synovial membrane lines to the inner to the capsule, so therefore it lines the capsule. Now in the which part this its extension and is absent. So in the posterior part, in the posterior part of the joint at the capsule, so it reflected forward as the cruciate ligament, because I have shown in diagram that there are two cruciate ligament which is in the middle in the intercondylar area to the condyle of the femur, what they attach. So therefore they are covered totally, so within the synovial cavity, synovial membrane. So therefore this posteriorly this synovial membrane is what we can say reflected forward to the cruciate ligament, covering both the cruciate ligament. Then second, in front of the what we can say in front part, anterior part, because patella is there, so therefore it is absent from the patella and prolonged upward as a suprapatellar bursa because that's covered this one. Then below the patella, it extends deep to the ligamentum patelli. It extends deep to the ligamentum patelli as an infrapatellar fold. So infrapatellar. So these are some of the what we can say the synovial membrane. So forming the folds and the bursa. Now bursae around the knee. It is said that there approximately 13 bursae are present. So 13 bursae are present. We are not going to discuss much details about here with the names. Only the 13. Out of that, the 4 are anterior bursae. Anterior bursae are 4. Then the 4 are the lateral bursae and 5 are the medial bursae. So these are some of the bursae. These are the cavity with the membrane containing the fluid. So these bursae. So that helps in again lubrication. So between the muscles because surrounding that and the ligaments and the capsules. So this about this bursae in the knee joint. So in this first part, what we have finished with this, in the next second part, we are going to learn about the relation of the knee joint, then the blood supply, nerve supply, the movements and the muscle supporting the helps in the movement of the knee joint, then the locking and unlocking of the knee joint, and the applied importance of the knee joint. So that we'll see in the next part. Thank you very much.